bit of a random one. My neighbour gave me an old metal waste paper basket, and in it were these things. There's a load of carbide tool in there. There's a dead centre, and I think one of those is, the one on the right is what you put in a chuck for a chuck. And there's also some kind of reamer. It's got a funny end. I'm not sure what it's all about. What I want to do is I want to show you my way of rust removal. So what I've got here is a bowl of water. I've got some baking soda, just cheap stuff from the dollar store. There's the reamer, the rusty Morse Taper 3 dead centre, and the other rusty Morse Taper 3 but with a Morse Taper for a chuck on this end. Just 2 bits of galvanised bar and a piece of galvanised tin. And what I've done is I've filled the tub up with water, and I'm going to show you how. Oh, and what else I've got here, this is an old charger, 6 volt 300 milliamp, and what I did is I cut the end off and I put a couple of crocodile clips on it, one on the pos and one on the neg. And if you don't know what the pos is, if you look at a cable like this, you see the white band that runs down the cable, a dotted band, that's your positive side. If it doesn't have this, it's easy enough to check with a multimeter. Very easy. You just wire a couple of clamps on it, so we've got a pos and a neg coming straight out of this 6 volts 300 milliamp. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this short piece of wire, I'm just going to put it through this bit of galvanised tin. And give it a twist. So we've got a nice contact. And it doesn't have to go all the way in, I'm just going to bend it like that. So it's just sitting on the side there. Now I'm going to get my other piece of wire. I'm going to coil it round this one a couple of times. And this one's got a ridge in the middle, so I'm going to wrap it round there. And this one, yeah, I don't know, I'll just wrap it once around there just to coil it. And I'm going to put them all in the water, keeping this above water level. Now what this is a cathode and an anode. I'm going to twist this up a bit more so I get a good connection. That's nice and tight, so now I know I've got good contact with that bit of tin plate. And this is out of the water, this end. I was going to use this, in fact I will. If I can get them to go in the water. Oh, and they're all bloody falling off. It's no big deal. Just put that in there like that. And twist it. And I'm just going to lay that one on top of it. That'll be fine. I'm going to put them in there like that. And maybe I could get that a wrap on that. Oh, shade. So that's what I've done. I've got one end here and it's got a piece of wire attached to it, and I've got the other end here and it's just hanging off this piece of bar. I didn't need the other piece, and I've got all three pieces in the water in contact with this wire. And what I'm going to do now is just sprinkle some baking soda in and then connect it up. Now don't ask me why I use baking soda. I saw it on a YouTube video and I've tried it on quite a few things. And it works great. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to check the length of my cable. Yep, that should have enough. I'm going to move this up the end here. It's not a specific science, I just sprinkle it in and give it a... It's not a specific science, I just sprinkle it in and give it a stir around. There's about a teaspoon in this tub. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug the negative end on the rusty parts. I want to plug the positive end on my sheet of galvanised tin. I'm now going to just plug it in. I've just plugged it in. Make sure that none of your parts are touching this. And what happens is it's like a positive negative reaction. This here is the attractant. This is called the anode. And this here is called the cathode. And all the rust is going to want to leave because it's positively attracted to this here. And I'm going to leave it. It might take a day, it might take 2 days, but I just leave it, and you can see already, if you look there, you see the end of the reamer, it's bubbling, and what that does is it breaks down, you can see it breaks down the rust, and it gets electronically attracted to the plate over here. And I'll come back in an hour or so and we'll have a look. And I can tell you, the top of this water will be bubbling and brown. And all of the rust will get attracted to this piece of plate. Now there are other videos on YouTube of people that do this and they set certain limits. Me, I just use that 6-volt charger. It's 600 milliamps. And as you can see, it's getting to work. And that's the electricity coming through there, bubbling everything off. And apparently the bicarb soda helps it to release and move or something like that. I'm not a friggin' chemist. But these here, you can use anything. I've used a bit of rebar, just old bits of tin. This is expendable. This is going to be rubbish after you've done it a few times because it slowly erodes. But it works, and we'll come back and check it tomorrow and see how it looks. Something random. Alright, put this in Sunday evening about 8 o'clock. It's now about 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, so I'm going to take it upstairs, throw all that nasty water in the bush and wash it up, and we'll see what we get. And there we have it. The reamer, I can read on it. It's Sioux City, Iowa. Let me look at, but can't see the size. Sioux City, USA. I know that's either in Iowa or South Dakota because it's a twin city. It's got the number 438 on it. And Albany. It looks like Albany, NY, New York. No, Albany Company. It's not sharp, you know. I don't think it's usable. But most tapers are good. There's no pitting on them, even though they look stained. They're fine. And this one here, it says Jacobs Chuck Arbor 3MT6JT England. Yeah. And that's it. That's, you know, just a day and a half. Rust's all gone. Wash it off, just give it a scrub with a Brillo pad. Of course, your cathode is, you know, the bigger the piece, the more it can attract. It's a throwaway item. I say I've used rebar and things. I mean, you can use an old baked bean tin, take the label off, take the top and bottom off, just cut it up the middle and open it out, put a hole in it and just hang it on a piece of wire. That's all that is. That's just a bit of galvanized tin with wire, and that's where you connect your cathode to, which is the positive. And then, you know, anything you want derusting, hang it on there. I just used a bar to hang it on the side. And like I say, you can do. I've got a big tub in my garage, a big 65-litre tote, and I've got a deep fat fryer basket. If I've got multiple parts, I put them all in that. And as long as you clean that, you can use that again, you know, wipe it down and clean it. But eventually in time it will all erode away. But it works great. It's a great way to remove rust, you know. Bit of water, bit of bicarb soda. Just, you know, there was only a teaspoon in there, just mix it up. I don't know what the bicarb soda does. I think it just helps agitate the water to move things around. And just an old 6-volt charger, 600 milliamps. Snip it, pause and neg. Just put your positive end on your anode and your negative end on the stuff that you want derusting, which is your cathode. And positive and negative attract. And it's a great way to remove rust. No need for all these fancy chemicals. You know, I can buy that Evaporust, and I've seen videos and it works fantastic. But it's like $40 for a gallon. I know you can reuse it, but that cost me a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. Then yeah, a day and a half of electricity at 600 milliamps. Cheaper than your rust removal chemicals any day. Anyway, that's how I remove rust. I hope you found it interesting. Thanks for watching.